Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone who is joining us for our morning devotionals with me, Pastor Brandon. We are excited that you are here. I am the lead pastor of Reconcile Community Church here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I am super excited to be with you all this morning. As we're gathering in, be sure to like and share this with your friends, share it on your page. This is our opportunity every day to come together collectively for a word of prayer, for a time of prayer, and to dig into the scriptures as well. And I'm just super excited to be with you all this morning. So much going on, but at the same time, man, it's just good to be able to come together before the chaos of the day to spend time in prayer, to spend time with you today. And so I've been thinking about some things as we do our devotionals, just for some of you who are first time here. One, welcome. Two, the reason why we come together, it's not just for us to read the scriptures and pray, but really what we are trying to do is to help create healthy rhythms in all of our lives where we are actively choosing to go before the Father and to build a relationship with God. And so we use this space as really a time of discipleship, of modeling and discipling. And so you will see that this is probably not always going to be the conventional devotional time that you think of. You may come and we may be learning a new practice. Some days we may be doing some things that may be a little bit different than what you expect. You may be coming in some days, and then we may be doing silence and solitude. We may do some contemplative practices and all these things. But in all, the hope and the prayer is to help you to begin to form these different practices, to begin to form some of these things that's necessary for you to grow in your faith. Today, I want to tell a story. We'll jump into the text, but I promise y'all this will be impactful for you. So I've noticed something. And it's happened a lot this week. Even in our times of counseling with my wife and I, through my own personal counseling with other people within our church, or talking with individuals along the way. My role as a pastor allows me to really get into the lives of individuals and to sit with them in their high moments, but also in their low spots in their in moments in their life. And one of the things that I'm noticing, and you've probably already seen this, you probably are experiencing this right now, that many of you are just tired. Anybody tired? Just put an I am in the chat. Just tired. You're tired from COVID. You're tired from working from home. Some of us are tired of wearing masks. Some of us are tired that we can't, go on certain trips that we want to, or to do the things that we used to do. We're tired. But it even bleeds off into our own spiritual lives as well. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've had this conversation with individuals who are interested in our church, or are following Jesus and maybe a part of a church, but they're tired. They're tired of the online thing. They're tired of trying to find a church in this, tired of trying to find community. They're just broken and tired. Maybe that's you today. Maybe that's you. You're just tired. And you find yourself thinking, you know what? I don't even know if I can continue to follow Jesus, if this is what it's going to entail. I don't know if I have enough in me to continue to push forward with my relationship. I don't know if I have it in me to continue to be a part of a local body. I don't know if I have it in me to even just, follow Jesus at all. And the more I've heard this, the more that I'm drawn to a particular text in the scriptures today. It's this Friday. I know it's here. It's Friday, y'all, and y'all excited. You work 8 more hours and you free for the next 2 days, but you still tired. And I want to draw our attention to a particular story. It's a particular story in the scriptures that I really believe can help us find hope in the midst of our tiredness. More so than anything, what I think that it's going to show us is that God can take our tired, feeble moments, if we are willing to give them to Him, and He can do something amazing with them. I think that He can restore us. This is what I'm getting at. I think that God can restore us. And this text gives me hope in that. If you have your Bible, we will be jumping in Matthew chapter 5, or Mark chapter 5, verse 25 through 34. And I want to read it. In fact, I'm going to read a little bit before it, and I'm going to read a little bit after it, just to kind of give you the setup here. It says this in verse 21. When Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, a large crowd gathered around him while he was by the sea. One of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet, and he begged him earnestly, "Listen to this. My little daughter is dying. Come and lay your hands on her so that she can be made well and live." So Jesus went with him, and a large crowd was following and pressing against him. Now, a woman suffering from bleeding for 12 years had endured much under many doctors. She had spent everything she had and was not helped at all. On the contrary, she became worse. Having heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his clothing. For she said, "If I just touch his clothes, I'll be made well." Instantly, her flow of blood ceased, and she sensed it in her body, and she was healed of her affliction. At once, Jesus realized in himself that power had gone out from him. He turned around and saw the crowd and in the crowd and said, "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing against you, and yet you say, 'Who touched you?'" But he was looking around to see who had done this. The woman, with fear and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth. "Daughter," he said to her, "your faith has saved you. Go in peace and be healed from your affliction." While he was still speaking, people came from the synagogue leader's house and said, "Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher anymore?" And when Jesus overheard that what was said, he told the synagogue leader, "Don't be afraid, only believe." Let me set the picture for you. Know if some of you may have just joined us. Set the picture. Jesus just got off the boat of the sea, and he starts to do what his custom is. He starts to teach. These crowd of people are ravenous around him because Jesus, in a lot of ways, is a superstar. He's a rock star. Why is he a rock star? Because they saw him do some remarkable things. They've watched him heal individual demon-possessed man in the synagogue. They've watched him navigate with the religious leaders. He's shown authority like no one has ever seen before. And it has blown people away. So wherever he goes, and when he heals somebody, instead of them being quiet and listening to what he said, they go tell the whole town. And I know we shout about that, like, "Oh yeah, it's shot fire in my bones." But the thing is, Jesus told them to be quiet so he can continue to do his work. But because they disobeyed, it made it a lot harder for him to do the work that he was called to do. So another conversation for another day. I'm painting a picture here. Jesus is teaching. This religious leader comes and says that his daughter is dying. He's making his way as the crowd is jostling against him as he's going through the crowd. There just so happens to be this woman. And the text doesn't give us her name for a reason. But all we know is that she had an issue with blood. Back in those days, what you had to understand and what you know about this is that, every month we know our ladies have to go through their menstruation cycle, and usually, in according to Levitical law, when a woman was going through her process, her period, it would mean that she was unclean. Now, after she was finished, there was a process of purification for her to be made clean again so that she could be a part of some of the ceremonies, so she could be back a part of the covenant people of God. But in those moments, she was unclean. This woman had an issue of blood for 12 years. She had been bleeding for 12 years. Get the picture. This woman was ceremonially unclean. In fact, what people would have looked at her, they would have been like, she shouldn't be anywhere around us, because if she touched anybody, they too would then be unclean. And the text tells us, now think about it. This woman would have been ostracized. They would have known who she is. They would have been like, oh yeah, that's such and such. Boy, you got to stay away from her. She problems. And she didn't allow her situation to dictate who she was, but the text leads us into something. I'm getting somewhere, I promise you. The text tells us that she went to all of these different doctors looking for help, looking for hope, but finding nothing. Every time she shelled out money, every time that she went here and she thought that maybe this would be the one, maybe when she went to this particular doctor, she just knew every time she had this hope that maybe this would be the one who would heal me, who would be able to help me to be made whole. But the text says, no, it didn't work. She blew through all of her money. She had nothing left. Spent. Not only did it not work, but the text tells us that it ended up that she was worse off than what she was at, where she was at. Can you imagine? You emptying out your savings, you trying so hard to find a hope. You've gone to all of these doctors and you've sat there and they've poked and prodded and they've given you medication after medication after medication. And you're walking away saying, maybe this time this will work. Or maybe I can bring it, to you in a different example. You've been struggling this season trying to find significance. You're trying to make your life make sense. And so you've gone through all of these different things that you thought would help you get to that place where you would finally feel whole, that people would see that you are significant and you are valuable. And so you busted your tail in your job and you climbed the corporate ladder and you posting all of your selfies on social media because you want them to see, man, now I am somebody. You finally climbed this ladder. You got your Tesla. You've done all of these things, right? You've done all of this. You've gone on the vacations. You've posted these things. You've gotten your summer body. You've gotten your spring body. You've done all of this stuff, and you realize that, man, people really don't even care anyway. They ain't following you. Plus, the algorithm is making it so they can't even see your stuff, and you tired. Or some of us are like, you know what? If I can just make enough money, then you know what? I will be it. I will get to wherever I want to go. You're searching for this completeness. And maybe you got all the money. Some of us never, we're still trying to climb that ladder, and you ain't got it. But sometimes some people do. But you get there and you realize it ain't enough. And you're broken. Some of us have set, and whatever it may be, we've gone and we've tried and we tried and we've tried and we've tried in our own strength. It didn't work. We've run to things instead of running to God. Tim Keller would say that an idol is any unauthorized noun. What am I getting at? Many of us have run to things, idols, looking for what only God can give. And we found ourselves at this reality that idols overpromise and underdeliver. And you find yourself tired. We've tried to do church on our own. saying that, man, look, man, I can do this by myself. Look, I don't really need the church and this and the other. I can do this on my own. So we grabbing crystals and we chanting and we burning sage and we doing this, but we still jacked up. We've gone to all of these different things and we just hadn't tried Jesus yet. We're tired. You're limping, but I have hope. You see, this woman had, if you can imagine, she would have been burnt out. She'd have been tired. I know when we read this text, we think that this woman probably has superhuman strength, that she's navigating the crowds and she reaches out and touches the garment, but I don't think that that's the case. Because I have a wife. I know how she is during that time of the month. She's tired. What I envision this woman being is that she doesn't have much strength left. And she's getting through the crowds, but she's stumbling some. She's tired and trying to catch her breath. And all the strength that she has left is for her to reach out. And she doesn't grab Jesus's arm. She doesn't try to swing him around so that he can see her. All she has left, hear me, brother and sister, is enough to reach out and to grab the entrail of his garment. She couldn't get herself right. She couldn't muster up the strength to put on a persona. She couldn't do any of that. All she had was just enough to say, look, God, look, I can just get into your presence. And it may not be perfect. It may be messy. The entrail of his garment would have drug on the ground. It would have been dirty. She's like, this is all I got. And she clings to that. And she clings to that. It wasn't a beautiful formation where she came and she was put together and she said, this is what I need from you, Jesus. She was like that publican who was beating his chest, just raw. And the text tells us that God does something with that. Jesus literally, she touches the hem, and Jesus is, because of who he is, because of her faith and knowing that, man, this man, he has to do something or I'm done. And he literally heals her without him even noticing. In an instant. Why do I share this with us, brothers and sisters? Because if you are tired and you've been struggling, and you've been limping, Jesus is saying, all I need for you is whatever that little bit that you got. Cling to me, and I'll take care of the rest. I'll restore your heart. I'll give you what you're longing for. He heals this woman. She grabs his garment. She clings to it, and immediately she's healed. And Jesus, turning around, he looks at her and he says, daughter, your faith has helped save you. And I don't know who you are, but my encouragement for you is to cling to Jesus. Cling to Jesus. I know that it's tough right now. I know that there's so much going on right now, but don't run to other things to try to find satisfaction and worth. Cling to Jesus. It don't got to be perfect. Cling to Jesus. Cling to him. Your feeble time where you may say, Jesus, I can only give you 5 minutes. That's all I got in me. He's like, okay. And I'll meet you in that 5 minutes. But come to me. Jesus, I'm not all the way put together. I don't really know how to study my Bible. That's okay. Cling to me. I'll meet you in that moment. I'll send what you need. The text tells us in Matthew chapter 7, when he's telling us to ask, seek, and knock, he goes on to say that basically God is a good father. He knows what we need. Luke 15 tells us that he's eagerly waiting for us to come to him. God is not a father that's sitting up in heaven with his arms crossed. And I know some of us think about, if I was to ask you what you think about Jesus, what about God looking at you right now, you would think that he's like this angry father with his arms crossed. It's not the case. It's like this loving father longingly waiting for his child to return. He loves you. He will deal with your sin, and he's dealt with your sin through Jesus Christ. He wants you to acknowledge that, but he loves his creation. And he's like, I want to be present. I want to be there. Just come to me. And so my encouragement for you today is to be like this woman who was so dogged about, man, you know what? I just need to get in his presence, even if it's just to grab his garment. But I know that there's power there. I know that there's hope there. I know that there's joy there. And it's true. So, whatever you're going through, brothers and sisters, as we go into our weekend, my encouragement for you today is to be reminded that we can come to him. We don't have to be put together. We can come to him. So what does that look like? That means, hey, look, spend some time in prayer. What we're doing right now. But spend some time to pray. It may mean, hey, look, I want to know how to study my scriptures more. It may mean that, hey, look, you download the Bible app and grab a plan, and you just want to spend, 2 or 3 minutes reading that and reading the scripture that they provide. We have information on our website as well. That's listening to a sermon. That's going to a service. That's sitting there. That's spending time with God. He's like, if you spend time with me, I promise you, I'll show up. I'll be there. It's depending on him when things get hard, not running to stuff to escape. Allow the Spirit to comfort you. Did you know that is the Holy Spirit's job, is to comfort you in the midst of these times? And so I find encouragement from this, and I hope that that you find encouragement from this, that just like that woman with the issue of blood who was tired, and I know y'all tired, but we can still come because the one who died for us has power to handle any situation that we have. It has more love than anything that you can ever imagine. And he longs to be with you. He longs with you. The question is, will you give him what you got? Will you give him what you got? Well, brothers and sisters, there's so much more I would share. So much more I would share. So much I want to share, but I am going to put a cap on it here. Preacher in me, I'm like, I got 3 more points in a poem, but I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it on y'all today. I hope that y'all have a great rest of the day, though. I do. This Sunday, we will not be gathering. But what I will encourage you to do is to check out our sermon from last week. If you didn't watch the sermon from this past Sunday, I would encourage you to do that. I may broadcast one on social media on Sunday, just a previous sermon for you all. But I would encourage you to spend time in prayer. I would encourage you, if you're a part of a local body of Christ, I encourage you to go to church, even if it's virtual. Go to church on Sunday. Just a couple announcements on May 30th, because of some awesome and dope dudes, men and women in Lincoln Heights. We will be partnering on that Sunday to spend some time in a community garden, serving our community. And so every 5th Sunday at our church, we don't meet formally. We go and serve. And so super excited about that. More information will be coming out forthcoming. And so just be checking our website and our social media pages for that. Also, be on the lookout for, of course, this upcoming Monday, we'll be going back to our devotionals with me, but there will be some men's informal, like some gatherings, and some women group things that will be taking place as well. So some ways that we can connect with each other throughout the spring and summer months. For all of my Cincinnati folks, may the force be with you as these cicadas start to come out in different places. But then also at the same time, Lord, man, for everyone else, have fun, enjoy your time. I think I mixed those up. That's what you call it. I can't remember. I'm tired. It's 7:53. So you all have a great rest of the day. And I do look forward to seeing you all on Monday for our daily devotionals with me, Pastor Brandon. If you want more information about our church, you can find it at reconcilecincy.org. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Thanks for the last minute prayer, Mom. Good to see you as well. I love you all. I'm praying for you. If you have prayer requests, send them our way. You can message us. We will love to pray for you. If anything, y'all know where to find me on all the social media pages and all that good stuff. Star Trek. That's what it was. You see what I was. Star Wars, may the force be with you, but Star Trek is this. Got you. I knew it. See, I knew my boy. I knew DeRoss was gonna have me, gonna tighten me up. That's accountability, y'all. See, that's accountability. Love you, brother. All right. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.